we're going to talk about the Coronado Springs Resort. So, Michael, officially, where is this resort located on Walt Disney World property?
It is considered a Animal Kingdom resort, but it is almost equally as close to all the rest of the parks.
You know what? So Stacy was telling us something earlier, and it was hard to believe they were that close. Stacy, give us like bus times from Coronado Springs to everywhere.
Yep. So these are obviously approximate times if everything was going perfectly. So Coronado Springs is located 17 minutes from Magic Kingdom, 17 minutes from Epcot, 16 minutes from Disney's Hollywood Studios, 15 minutes from Animal Kingdom, 25 minutes to Disney Springs, 12 minutes to Blizzard Beach, and 25 minutes to Typhoon Lagoon.
Before we talk about it, and before we describe it and talk about all the details and what it has, give me your gut instinct. What do you think of when you think of Coronado Springs? Let's go with Michael. What do you think about?
It's picturesque. That's the word that I can think of to describe the resort overall.
Which way are you facing, if you're taking that picture?
Right now, I think you can pretty much face any which way, and you'll be good.
You know what? You're right, but it wasn't like that for a couple years, right? You wanted to face away, right? You wanted to face towards the resort, away from the tower.
Right, and it was picturesque, no audio, just visual sometimes. Because, it has been, and they've done a fantastic job completely through the construction. Mm-hmm. But I mean, as with anything, when you're building a tower that's 15 stories, you're going to have some, and plus they redid all the buildings.
Okay.
So,
Stacy, what do you think about?
I think about theming, and it's just Disney is all about theming, but Coronado Springs just really surprised me when we were there over the summer. I didn't really think I was going to love the theming as much as I did, but there was just so many details everywhere you looked, especially like we'll talk about later in the pool area. It was just amazing.
Mm-hmm. So when we first started exploring the resort a couple years ago, many years ago now, we always felt that it was really authentic, and I think I think you could probably say that about a lot of the Disney resorts, but something about this, the laid-back feel, the authentic feel when you walk around the cabanas, the ranchos, the casitas, something was just really authentic about it and felt like when you walk around some resorts, you don't feel that way. You kind of feel like it's a hub of activity, of the Polynesian and the Contemporary. Like, I've never felt relaxed at those resorts because it feels like almost like a theme park unto itself. But here, it's hard to not take that deep breath and walk around. So I've often felt that it's like the most laid back of the resorts. So even before we get into other details, I should mention this is one of the moderates. Michael, what are the moderate resorts at Walt Disney World?
Well, we've got the two Port Orleans, Riverside and French Quarter. We've got Caribbean Beach and Coronado, and then the the Fort Wilderness Cabins. So
it is a moderate. So there's officially 5 resorts considered in the moderate. Well, we'd say 4 plus the cabins. It was built in 1997, so you're coming up on 23 years here that it's been open, and it just recently underwent a massive renovation. You mentioned it earlier. So this was like all, I don't want to use the word scuttlebutt, but it was the Disney scuttlebutt for a long time. When they announced they were going to build this tower, Michael, what is the tower's name again?
Grand Destino.
The Grand Destino. When they were going to build this tower, it caught the flack and negative feedback from everybody. But I think if you were I don't want to say if you were a true Disney fan, because that's not quite right, but in the back of all of our hearts, even though we really didn't want the change, I think we all thought it was going to be really beautiful once it was completed. And you're on site. You're there with Theme Park Brothers. You're covering gondolas. You're covering, like you said, you've seen this thing since it was a baby all the way up to where it's at right now. What do you think of that, of the tower, Michael?
I just think it's extremely impressive. From day one, when I saw them, we were there when they were demolishing the Cabanas building that is no longer there. Mm-hmm. There were Cabana buildings over there where the tower stands now, and I remember seeing them knock those down. And every step of the way, just seeing how the process has gone, it's quite a feat to keep a resort running and flowing and keep guests happy while you're building a 15-story tower, which is very close. I mean, we're not talking this thing is, a little way. It's right next to portions of that resort. And so I've been very impressed with how Disney has handled it going through the whole process. I was always excited at the prospect of what it would do to a resort that I already loved to visit, that I already found just absolutely beautiful. And then there's not just the tower, but the other additions that I'm sure we'll get to later, fixed some of the issues that I may have had with Coronado in the past, and just fixed it flat out. And I think that this whole the whole refurbishment and all the things that they did, there are a few that I'm sure we could probably at the end say some of the things that we may not like about the changes, but overall I think it's absolutely beautiful. Let's just say that.
Okay. Stacy, you mentioned theming. So describe, what does Coronado Springs have in terms of theming? What is it trying to represent to people?
It's representing the Southwest theme, like the American Southwest Northern Mexico theme.
Okay.
There's 3 areas. There's the ranchos, the casitas, and the cabanas.
Gorgeous fountains and plazas.
Yes,
yeah, right?
Fountains, plazas, so much beautiful foliage. I know that foliage is sometimes a problem for me.
It's a trigger. It's a trigger for you.
But it's beautiful. I love foliage there, because it's so different from area to area. One of the areas, it's a lot of cactus type, dry foliage or whatever. I'm not using the correct words. You know what I'm saying? Then there's other areas that's a lot more lush, and so it's just so cool how that works, how they work that out.
Yeah, agreed completely. And at nighttime, it's I mentioned how relaxed it was. It's doubly that at nighttime.
Nighttime is gorgeous.
It is gorgeous. Let's talk about the entrance. So when you get in, obviously right off, I mean, they've got beautiful tiles to actually display the name, but as you enter the building, what is that entrance look like? What is the theme when you walk into the lobby, and what do you see when you get there, Michael? You're there more often than we are, so tell us what you see.
Okay, I'm gonna take you in your senses. First of all, it hits every sense that you have, because when you walk in directly, there's a fountain. And I love it when there are fountains, because number one, you can hear the water. Number two, you can smell. And we all know that smell. It's the same smell that's on Pirates. It's the same smell that's on Small World. It's that chlorine.
Sweaty tourist?
Yes.
Okay.
Mixed with Florida air conditioning. It's a beautiful thing. But you walk in, and then when you turn to the right, there is the lobby with the most amazing hidden Mickey up on the wall. At the top, there's a giant projected hidden Mickey that I absolutely love. And that's one of my favorite things about the resort and about that lobby itself.
If you were a fan of Seinfeld, you yada-yada'd over the best part. Right when you get into that fountain, look up. There's a magnificent dome right above your head, and it's got this amazing artistry. And it's I like the fountain too, but when you get there, you look up and it's oh my gosh. When you walk into that lobby, it's one of my favorite parts. So anyways, I'm sorry. The lobby and the hidden Mickey. Okay.
Yes. And then when you look to the left, there is the marketplace there. And it is, it's your typical, what do you call it? Merchandise location.
No, don't undersell it. It's it's one of the best ones on property.
It was, Chris.
Yeah.
That's why I wasn't going to really dive into it, because with this remodel, they took away the color.
We better call somebody. We're going to take care of it right now. We're going to take care of this problem for you. We're going to call someone.
Unless they fixed it in the past month or two, and put it back the way it was. That was one of the drawbacks. That was one of the kind of my frustrations with the remodel, was just that. And then I'm sure we'll get to Pepper Market, which is no longer Pepper Market.
Okay, so continue on through your tour of what you're going to see. So you went through the lobby and you saw the fountain. You looked at the dome. You went and found the big hidden Mickey. You were disappointed that the color was taken from the shop, but it's still beautiful. Let's go down towards the food options there at El Centro. What is the food options there?
First, when you go down, you've got kind of like a quick grab-and-go location on the left, which has your, bagels and muffins and that sort of thing. A quick grab-and-go location right there on the left, as well as a place to refill your mugs and such there as well. And then you keep going down this long hallway, and when you get to the end, there is a bar, the Rick's Bar on the left, and then what used to be the Pepper Market is now called El Mercado, I believe.
Okay.
And it is your quick service location at the resort. And then if you keep going, you'll hit Maya Grill.
Okay. Stacy, were you there when it was called Pepper Market, or were you there after it had changed over?
I was there when it was called Pepper Market,
okay.
And then over Marathon weekend, we were there when it had changed over. I actually don't remember now that I'm talking.
Okay.
Yeah, it would have been changed over. Yeah.
I thought it had, but yeah.
Okay, describe, both of you, if you would, please. What is the quick service options? What does it look like? Is it in the vein of Port Orleans French Quarter, where there's little windows that you can pick different items from and you would wait, or describe what it kind of looks like?
It's from what I can recall, you walk in and there's like different counters that you can go to, and each counter is it's similar to other quick services, and you order at different areas. Like there's a pizza area, which I think it was flatbread pizza. It was really good.
Okay.
And then there's like a burrito bowl area. There's probably another one, and then there's the dessert spot as well. So there's a bunch of different options.
Okay, Michael, you mentioned to me that you were a little disgruntled after they changed it, and it was Pepper Market. But what's the biggest difference you noticed?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm as disgruntled with this change as I was the other. I think what it comes down to is it's more sterile. Okay, it's more it's going away from the what I would consider kind of an authentic experience to one that's toned down.
Okay.
So it's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. And for someone who's a little OCD, it's very clean. Mm-hmm. So that helps in that aspect. And I'm not meaning clean like we know everywhere at Disney's clean, but like it's
visually intrusive.
Clean,
yes.
Yeah, it's a very clean look. But I think I had just known Coronado as the place with the giant totem bird, with the Pepper Market and the signage hanging down that said Pepper Market, and just, I don't know, just this kind of festival feel when you went in to go dine. And now there's just more booths. It's more sterile, like I said, and it's very clean.
There's a refill station, and it used to be in the middle, and I believe it's still there right now. But the seating area here is massive. It could be one of the largest quick service seating areas in any of the resorts. It's enormous, the amount of people, and that's due to the convention. So right down the hall from there is some of the convention rooms. They have, frankly, they have a 60,000 square foot ballroom, as well as business centers. It can accommodate 5,000 people for dinner, or 6,500 people for like a meeting style. So they also have a 20,000 square foot junior ballroom. So when they do have these conventions, they need a place to feed all these people. So that's why it's designed to hold as many people in the quick service area as it is. All right, so let's walk out of the building, and we don't want to gloss over Maya Grill. I've not eaten at Maya Grill, but I know it's beloved by a lot of people.
It's really, really good.
Tell us about it.
I have to say, yeah, no, it's really great. We went during Marathon weekend, and the thing I remember the most is the margarita flight that I had, which was
or not remembered at all.
They were very, very small glasses, but There's a jalapeno margarita that was super awesome, so I think I would just get that the next time. But I have some shrimp dish, but everything was really good. And there was live music. There was a guy playing a guitar, and it was really only a few people in the restaurant. So we had the place to ourselves, and it was great, good service and everything.
So that was my memory of Coronado as well too, is it's large and it can hold a lot of people, but if you don't get a convention in there, it never feels crowded. It actually feels rather empty. Okay, walk us out of the building here, and let's start walking around the property. But we talk about these terms: ranchos, cabanas, casitas, and El Centro and the Lago Dorado. So let me kind of orient people. So if you took the dig site, which is where the pool's at in the slide, and if you made like a circular clock, and that was at the center, ranchos would be 12 o'clock above them. The lake is completely below the dig site, and El Centro would be 6 o'clock. So they're at the polar opposites of where the dig site's at. You can walk from ranchos to the dig site, but dig site to the building, to the lobby, there is a little bit of a veered path you have to take. Cabanas would be over at 3 o'clock, and casitas would be roughly over at like 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock. So north, south, east, west. If you could kind of picture those numbers on a clock is where it's located. On a map, it looks like Building 8 of Cabanas is really close to the dig site. Building 7 and 6 of Ranchos is really close to the dig site and their quiet pool. Anything in like 1, 2, 3 for casitas, that's going to require some effort for you to get up and around the lake, but it is closest to the food options, to the refill station for your drink cup, for your, for the marketplace if you wanted to be there. So I don't know if that helps orient people. And, like you said, Stacey, the property's big. It's not enormous. It's not like what would be the biggest property, like Saratoga Springs type big or Caribbean Beach type big, but it is a ways. So if you have a little one and you end up in building like 2 of casitas, yeah, that's going to be a walk unless you're going to go to the quiet pool to get to the dig site every time. But it is gorgeous. It is beautiful. So don't be afraid of that. So we talked about the dining. We should mention just some basic information. So this is not taking in consideration the tower that's coming in, but prior to the tower, it had about 1,900 rooms and suites. Okay, it was situated in the 3 villages. We mentioned them several times, and the lake is a 15-acre lake, so it's a large lake.
There's going to be 545 new guest rooms, including 50 suites. And then I know we were talking about restaurants before, so I'll add this on as well. There's going to be a rooftop table service, which is called Toledo, and I know we kind of mentioned that. They're serving tapas, steak, and seafood. Okay. So that's all part of the tower. Yeah, and we stayed in a newly refurbished room back in last June, July, and it was one of the reasons why Coronado became one of my favorite resorts. The storage capabilities in those rooms were mind-boggling. I do not know how they did this, but there's storage absolutely everywhere you look, and I love the fact that they have the under the bed storage for your suitcases. That's just as a game changer for people.
I remember you saying that. How awesome is that for all your luggage and suitcases that just sit in the corner, right? Yeah, genius.
It was perfect. And I really I don't know how they have all this storage in this room. Everywhere you look, there's a cabinet, there's a shelf, they did such a great job. But my favorite part is what they're doing in a lot of resorts when they do refurbs is they put in all the charging stations. So there's, several charging stations on each side of the bed. They're all over the room. They're, so you can really charge all your devices, especially for people who each person might have 1 or 2 devices. It just made things so much more convenient in the room. But it was, I know a lot of people kind of are down on Disney with their new room refurbs, how they're saying that they look so sterile and everything. But I really like that. I liked the clean feeling of the rooms. They still did have some Disney accents with the 3 Caballero paintings and things on the walls. Those were really cute. But otherwise, it was just really clean decor. and it's made the room so bright and airy. And I thought they were really beautiful.
Yeah. Okay, so, that's kind of the impression that I got by watching your pictures, that it was like, ooh, that felt like a brand new looking resort, like something they would just pull out, right? So, cool. What was your thought about the pool? Let's talk about what is like one of the coolest features. So they got this giant pyramid. So let's talk about that. How did your kids enjoy the pool and the Jaguar slide there?
They really liked it. We only got to go, we might have gotten to go during the day as well, but I remember it very clearly at night. We were just very excited to get over there. Mm-hmm. And it was super cool. The pyramid is just so impressive with the waterfall going down it and the Jaguar slide. And just very, very relaxing. Also, we were kind of stationed off the side of the pyramid, so I can see the kids coming off of the slide. Mm-hmm. And it was like we talked about before, there were barely any people there. It was really just us and a few other families in the evening. So that made it really a peaceful time too. But there's also a really, really cool playground right by the dig site with a giant sand, like a big sandbox. But it's like it's supposed to be like an archaeological dig, mm-hmm. hence the name dig site. But there's this area, it looks like building ruins, and there's this really cool slide coming out of the ruins. And I loved that because so many of the resort playgrounds just all are very cookie cutter. They look, one looks just like the other, but this one is different. Like it's a themed area as a playground. And usually we pass up the playgrounds. We're like, don't let the kids see them. Just keep on walking. But for this one, we're excited to let them play in it. So
outstanding.
Yeah.
Michael, did he ever go and visit the Coronado Springs playground?
Yeah, he's got a Cameron's Playground review at the Coronado Playground. So
yeah,
nice.
I know he's reviewed a bunch of them with you, which really amounts to Cameron having fun and Michael chasing Cameron around. But they're really adorable. So I just didn't know if he had any from there. So
yeah, he does. He likes to go, and there's this, and there's this. Yes, great elaborations.
So that was called the Explorers Playground. That was actually the official title. I don't know if they've changed that since then, but it was called the Explorers Playground because my kids also got like drawn in like flies to the playground over there too as well. And when we were over there, we're like, okay, this looks really cool. Let them spend a little bit of time here. So definitely check that out.
That resort, no matter what time of day, it has a different feel. No matter what time of year, it has a different feel.
Oh, Christmas is gorgeous there, Michael. You're right. Christmas is beautiful there. Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that. It's let's say springtime. Different foliage is growing. Different flowers are blooming. Then you go in August or September. It's a totally different feel. Christmas has a different feel. There's something about Coronado, unlike the rest of the resorts, I notice it more at Coronado, that the vegetation gives that resort a pop. Coronado is one of those places that it feels spread out, but it's not as spread out as you would think. For a long time, it got a bad rap as being a convention hotel. But as many times as I've gone there, and we're talking 2-3 times a month doing walkthroughs, whether it be weekends, weekdays, evenings, daytime, never did it seem like a convention hotel to me. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you go into that convention lobby, yeah, it's going to seem like a convention hotel because that's what's going on right there. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to being at the pool, there aren't people in suits with blackberries swimming in the pool. That's me. People are, it is what it is. But I don't understand that rap that resort gets. Okay. And I'll get off my soapbox.
No problem. I'm going to give you extra points today for actually mentioning the word blackberry. So 2014 called, right, Michael? So.
Yeah, whatever. I had a BlackBerry one.
So, Stacy,
I think that going with that, like I think on a Be Our Guest podcast one time, Mike Rallman was saying that if there's people at a convention, who cares? You're on vacation. They're at work. So I don't care if I see a bunch of people walking around with suits. I'm having fun. I'm on vacation, so don't worry about them. Yeah, it never bothered me either.
What else can they do? What else does the resort have? What are some of the amenities that the resort has, Stace?
Yeah, so this moderate resort has a health club. So I don't think that any of the other moderate resorts have a health club. So that's a definite plus there. Scott and I used the jogging trail over Marathon Weekend. We kind of got stuck because there was a lot of construction and we just were following the path that we were supposed to follow, but obviously there was lots of fences up, so we had to take little detours around, but it gave us a really good opportunity to see the progress of the tower. Mm-hmm. There is a volleyball court. There's bike rentals. Then there's the movies under the stars, like they have at all the different resorts there too, but those are all part of the recreation of Coronado Springs.
Does it mention where those the movies are?
Yes, it says it's at the feature pool. Nightly movies under the stars.
So many years ago, they used to have a marina there too, but I don't recall seeing anything on the lake. But they used to have a marina. It's been some time, correct, Michael? That they've had anything?
They did, but yeah, they've since there's nothing out there except for, of course, the construction watercraft or whatever they have there, and there's that makeshift bridge that's actually going across the water.
Yeah.
In front of the tower.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're the only traffic that's out there, and was going out to the construction of the actual new bar and grill, the Three Bridges Bar and Grill.
Okay. Okay. So we should mention a few things here before we close down here. When is the tower going to be completed? I know they're accepting reservations, but when are people staying, with a completed tower?
So Disney Parks website says July 2019.
Okay, so we're coming up. We're coming up on this summer. So we hope you've had as much fun listening as we've had kind of finding facts about the resort and exploring it ourselves. If you have any questions, go to the Disney World site, go to disneyworld.disney.go.com, go to allears.net. Stacy, where are you looking at for your information?
I was looking at the Mouse for Less.
Okay, the Mouse for Less site. There's a lot of good resources. Go to YouTube. Check out YouTube. Check out some of Michael's videos on Theme Park Brothers. He's got some of the construction updates for Coronado. We'd be remiss to not mention that, our third host, who is Peter Panacorvo, he honeymooned here. This was the site of Peter's honeymoon. So this resort is near and dear to his heart. But there's a lot of great resources. So feel free to check them out. If you got any questions for us, find us on Facebook, which is going to be, at the Dub Dee Dub Revue Facebook page. Join our private Facebook group, which is called EDCOT, EDCOT. If you got any questions for Michael can respond from EDCOT, but also he's, Michael, you're at Theme Park Brothers on Facebook and at Theme Park Boys on Twitter. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yep. You can always find me there. Shoot me a message. I'll get right back to you.
Yeah. So feel free, shoot us a message. We're both going to get back to you really quickly. So I think that's it for today. I'm going to go relax in my nice quiet resort that's brand new looking and no, I'm not. That's actually Michael tomorrow. I'm going to be here in Chicago where it's not nice. So anyways, we'd like to thank you. Have a great day.
Bye everyone.
See you, everybody.